Hello, it's Rob from Fountain Pen Journey. Chinese pen review time. Yeah, this is the Jinhao number 18 Pagoda Series. Now, I was seeing this pen on Roscoe's Pens here in the UK, eBay shop. And this was the Jinhao number 18 Pagoda Series Silver. Now, what turned up is very definitely gold, but I'm not complaining. I'm really stunned by this. What on earth was Jinhao thinking when they designed this pen? It's almost like they designed a dragon pen and it kind of ended up falling into a bucket of other parts. It's hugely embellished. This is metal. All of this is metal. Don't even know. Yep, that bit could easily be plastic. The finial down here, no, that's metal. It's lacquered. So this is the Pagoda Series number 18, or number 18 Pagoda Series, which has these little pagoda roof style finials with a red plastic domed cabochon on top, and the embellishment, if I can get this to refocus, there we go, it's just hugely over the top, but it is a dragon and it's holding this faux moonstone down here, this chatoyant cat's eye gemstone. So that's the cap, and further down on the barrel there is another dragon with red faux rubies for eyes. So that is, yeah, it's about as over the top as the pen can possibly be. Weirdly, pull off cap. This cap is very, very heavy. Section is quite long, metal, plastic coated or some sort of material on there, steel nib, two-tone steel nib. This is a fine, and the pen without the cap is actually relatively comfortable to hold. All these things are all quite smooth. None of the embellishments is sharp. You don't really feel them, but you certainly do feel the weight of this pen. The cap doesn't really post, it sort of fits and hangs on in there, but this pen is uncomfortable, back heavy. It's not pleasant, so I would always write with this particular pen unposted. So before we do the writing sample, I mean, it's so over the top you can't even tell what's what on the pen. It just looks like a huge pile of metal. Before we do the writing sample, I'm going to show you the weight of this pen, because this is significant. So all up, cap on the pen, 96.7 grams. Nearly 100 grams. Tenth of a kilo? Tenth of a kilo. That's, let's face it, damned heavy. Let's just zero that, and let's show you what the cap weighs. Let's just zero this. It's not playing ball, have I? Oh dear, what on earth's going on with this? Scales are now playing up. That's always fun. Oh, why? There we go. Almost. Keep tearing it until it... You get the picture. It's on zero. Right, the cap, 50.7 grams. weighs more than the pen. The pen, 46.2 grams. That is, as far as I'm concerned, substantial. It's, yeah, that is a heavy pen. So if you don't want a heavy pen, this is definitely not the pen for you. In fact, sometimes I've just picked it up then, off camera, out of sight, and the thing just, you know, it's like picking up something, a ship that's been anchored. Really, really heavy. Capped, I mean, you can feel the balance of this pen is very cap heavy. Because you imagine where that cap is sitting, it is quite a big cap. Compare it to the rest of the pen, I mean, yeah, it's big, it's metal, it's heavy. There is a liner in there and a screw, not a screw, it's looks like a rivet, or it could be a bolt at the bottom, but it is lined. I haven't had any issues with this pen drying out. So let's do the writing sample. Oh. No, I'm gonna write this down how it was sold to me, because if you are interested in this pen, you may stand a better chance of finding it. So it was the Jinhao No. 18 Pagoda Series. And this was sold to me, or just put fine nib. There we go, fine nib in this pen. This was sold to me as the silver, but it is actually gold. So I don't know whether Jinhao No. 18 Pagoda Series silver is the way you're going to find this pen if you want one. Maybe worth including that. Try the gold as well. Try and get this back in focus. There we go. Okay, so let's do the writing sample. Now, as you can see, I'm laying down quite a lot of ink here. I'd say it's a fairly broad, fine nib. It's not a medium, but what can I say about it? Well, it writes. It's not scratchy. I've done nothing to this nib. Bearing in mind I have had some Jinhao pens where I really have had to do something to the nib to get them to write at least either right at all or write how I like them. I've done nothing with this nib. No complaints with the nib. One complaint that I have about this pen, and it's the nib and feed, is way back when I started this fountain pen journey back in 2017, some of the first pens that I bought, in fact the first pens that I did buy, were Jinhao pens, and one or two of those, especially the Jinhao X450s, I find suffer from ink starvation. Now this is basically where you can write a page, maybe half a page, and then suddenly the ink goes from being lovely and saturated and wet to being undersaturated. It feels dry to write with, and it's just not as nice, and you can sense that there's an issue with the flow. I haven't experienced that with a Jinhao pen for quite some time. I've used quite a lot of Jinhao pens over the course of the last 2 years since I started my fountain pen journey, and this is the first pen from Jinhao, which I've come across, which has that problem. Excuse my dog barking in the background. It's the run-up to fireworks night, and of course every idiot in the country is setting off fireworks at every point in the evening, every day of the week. So yeah, this does get ink starvation. It's not terrible, but it's not great. This is the reason that I actually started to move away from using Jinhao fountain pens, this ink starvation. The ink is a Jinhao ink, which is orange. It's not a very saturated ink. It washes out of pens very, very well. And I thought it goes with this orange cat's eye stroke moonstone gemstone. False, obviously. It goes in there, unscrew this, and I have taken out the converter that came with this pen, and I've been using these Jinhao cartridges in there. So, there we go. Push cap. I find strange because you've got such a big heavy metal pen, it just feels strange having to cap and uncap this way. I'd prefer a screw cap on this one. I don't know, it just feels like it should have one. What do I think of the design? Completely over the top. Really, really over the top. If you want over the top, this is it. This is definitely it. Is it something that I'd say is attractive? No, it's absolutely hideous. But if you want over the top, you've found it. I mean, we've got so much going on this pen. I mean, it's difficult to even focus because there is so much embellishment and depth. And yeah, the finial with this little pagoda roof. It's over the top. I'm not even going to say. It's personal taste, and I should imagine most people are going to say it's bad taste. But if you want a pen like this, it's certainly unique. You won't find another one, so it's definitely going to tick the box for uniqueness. Value for money. I got this pen very, very cheaply in an online auction on eBay from Roscoe's Pens. I would never pay full price for one of these pens, even if I wanted them. I just don't think that they're worth that sort of money. I mean, I've seen these pens retail for anything from, I don't know, £25 to £39 here in the UK on eBay. I'd never pay that for a Jinhao pen. I'm sorry, just no. That's just ridiculous. But when you get an auction like this that you happen to win, yeah, very happy. A little bit disappointed that this has got the Jinhao issues with the ink starvation in the flow, but not all Jinhaos do that. So maybe it's just how the nib and the feed is inserted. I might have to play around with that. I find it comfortable. The metal section, which is plastic coated, to be honest, is a little bit narrow. I'd say a little bit sort of, you know, you're getting on towards pencil thickness there, but it's comfortable. And this is a pen that surprisingly you can actually write with unposted for quite a long period of time, but it is heavy. So I hope you found this video interesting. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next time. Bye.